The Galactic Assessment Committee's chamber hung suspended in the void between Proxima Centauri's twin stars, its crystalline walls refracting starlight in perpetually shifting patterns. Senior observer Vix Terra adjusted her sensory membranes as she prepared to deliver what would become the most controversial report in the committee's 12,000-year history. Honorable members of the assessment committee, she began, her bioluminescent markings pulsing with formal respect. I stand before you today with findings that will challenge everything we understand about species development and technological progression. The assembled representatives, each chosen from the galaxy's most advanced civilizations, stirred in their gravity chambers. Some extended their sensory appendages, others activated additional processing cores. All knew this session would be different. The humans had made sure of that. 300 cycles ago, we detected anomalous radiation signatures from the third planet of Sol. Initial scans suggested primitive radio technology, consistent with a Level 2 civilization beginning its journey to the stars. We established the standard observation protocols, expecting to document the usual millennia-long progression toward spacefaring capability. Vix Terra's markings flickered with what her species expressed as wry amusement. We were wrong. Catastrophically wrong. She activated the chamber's holographic system, filling the space with a three-dimensional representation of Earth's technological progression. The graph's line shot upward at an angle that made several committee members recoil. In just 3 centuries, they progressed from burning hydrocarbons for basic locomotion to achieving quantum entanglement communication. For perspective, it took the Ardeni, our fastest developing member species, 2,000 years to make the same journey. The Ardeni representatives' chromatophores flushed deep purple with embarrassment. But rapid technological development, while concerning, isn't why I've called this emergency session. Vix Terra continued. Our observation posts have documented something far more troubling. Humans don't follow any of our established development patterns. They don't wait to perfect one technology before moving to the next. They don't proceed in logical progression. They simply leap. She gestured, and the hologram shifted to show a massive particle accelerator complex. This facility was built to study fundamental physics. By our models, it should have been constructed only after achieving stable fusion power and establishing orbital manufacturing. Instead, they built it while still largely dependent on fossil fuels. They wanted to understand the universe's secrets before mastering their own planet's resources. The Anextali representative interrupted, their crystalline form vibrating with concern. Surely this indicates dangerous instability. A species that develops so chaotically must inevitably destroy itself. That's what we thought too, Vix Terra replied. We've documented 47 separate incidents where human civilization came close to self-destruction. Nuclear weapons, climate change, artificial intelligence, genetic engineering. Each time, we prepared to log their extinction event. And each time, she paused, her markings pulsing with barely contained amazement. They pulled back from the edge. Not through careful planning or unified action, but through a chaotic mixture of last-minute innovations, unlikely alliances, and what they called desperate gambles. The chamber erupted in simultaneous communication, forcing the damping fields to engage. After order was restored, the collective mind of the Silicum consciousness spoke, its thoughts transmitted directly into the awareness of all present. This pattern matches no known evolutionary path. Have we considered the possibility of external intervention? Extensively, Vix Terra confirmed. We found no evidence of manipulation by any known species. This is their natural development path. And it gets worse. The hologram shifted again, showing a small research facility in Antarctica. 6 solar cycles ago, a team of human scientists accidentally created a stable micro-wormhole while attempting to study quantum teleportation. They weren't even trying to breach space-time. They were, in their words, just messing around with some new ideas. The chamber fell silent. Creating artificial wormholes was considered impossible without at least level 9 civilization advancement. Humans were barely at level 4. The humans, believing themselves alone in the universe, are approaching technological breakthroughs that took our member species countless generations to achieve. They do this not through careful advancement, but through a process they call trial and error, essentially, trying things simply to see what happens. The collective mind pulsed with concern. This violates all known principles of societal development. A species cannot simply skip the fundamental stages of technological and social evolution. Apparently, Vexterra's markings flashed with what might have been humor. Nobody told the humans that. She brought up a final series of images, human entertainment media spanning the last century. Most troubling of all is this: they've imagined most of their major technological achievements before creating them. They dream something impossible, then find ways to make it real. They call it science fiction, but we might better understand it as pre-engineering. The Pexillary Elder, silent until now, extended its consciousness toward the assembled committee. You have not yet stated your recommendation, Senior Observer. Vexterra's markings dimmed to a solemn blue. Based on 300 cycles of observation, I must recommend that humanity be classified as a Covenant-level threat to galactic stability. Not because they are hostile, though they can be tremendously aggressive when provoked, but because their mere existence challenges the fundamental principles upon which our galactic civilization is built. She gestured one final time, and the hologram showed Earth spinning slowly in the void. If we reveal ourselves and welcome humanity into the galactic community, they will not be content to accept our technology and join our hierarchy. They will question everything, challenge everything, try to improve everything, whether it needs improvement or not, and they will do it all at a pace that could tear our society apart. Then you recommend continued quarantine? The Pexillary Elder asked. I do, with one addition. We must also establish a contingency protocol. Humans are remarkably adept at discovering what others try to hide from them. I estimate we have less than 50 cycles before they discover us on their own. We need to be prepared for that day. The collective mind pulsed with curiosity. And if they surpass our technology before we make contact? Vexterra's markings flickered with an emotion none in the chamber had seen before. Then we pray they remember their own stories about first contact and choose to be benevolent to their primitive galactic neighbors. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Outside, Earth's sun continued to shine, its light reaching toward the stars where humanity would, ready or not, eventually follow. Fleet Commander Zixhal reviewed the tactical display with mounting concern. The 47th Training Fleet had selected the Sol system's outer reaches for their gravity well combat exercises, specifically because it was supposed to be empty. The quarantine zone around Earth extended only to Mars, and no human technology should have been capable of detecting their presence near Jupiter. Should have been. Status report, she commanded, her crystalline exoskeleton vibrating with tension. Unknown vessel holding position at coordinates 47 Mark 12, her sensor officer reported. It's crude, Commander. Chemical propulsion, minimal shielding. By all readings, it shouldn't even be operational this far from Earth. The human vessel hung in space like an afterthought, a jumble of solar panels and fuel tanks that looked more like orbital debris than a proper spacecraft. Yet somehow it had not only reached Jupiter's orbit, but had managed to position itself perfectly to observe the fleet's classified training maneuvers. Designation? Zixhal asked, already dreading the answer. They're calling it Europa Researcher 3. Civilian science vessel, apparently. Of course, the humans and their endless curiosity. The committee had warned about this, their tendency to push beyond their supposed limitations through sheer determination and what they called duct tape engineering. Time to implement quarantine protocols and... Zixhal's order was cut short by a sudden alarm. Multiple impacts detected in Training Sector 7. The tactical officer announced. The human vessel is. They're launching probes. Dozens of them. The tactical display updated, showing a cloud of tiny objects dispersing through the training area. The devices were primitive, little more than cameras and sensor packages strapped to ion engines, but they were positioning themselves with surprising precision. They think they've discovered a natural phenomenon, the science officer realized, her neural pathways pulsing with amused horror. They're trying to study our quantum wake patterns. Zixel felt her crystalline structure vibrate with stress. The training exercise involved complex gravitational manipulations, standard practices for any spacefaring civilization. But humans weren't supposed to even know such things were possible, let alone attempt to study them. Initiate stealth protocols, she ordered. Full quantum field suppression. Unable to comply, Commander. The human probes, they're everywhere. If we activate our stealth systems, they'll detect the energy vacuum. It would be like drawing a ship-shaped hole in their sensor readings. The tactical display continued updating as the human vessel deployed more probes, each one carefully positioned to capture data from a different angle. They were accidentally mapping the entire fleet's formation with remarkable accuracy. New transmission from the human vessel, communications reported. They're broadcasting their findings openly, on multiple frequencies. They're excited about discovering what they believe to be quantum gravity fluctuations in Jupiter's magnetosphere. Zixhal's secondary processing core nearly crystallized from shock. The humans weren't just observing them. They were documenting everything, theorizing about it, and sharing their findings with their entire species. Even now, Earth-based scientists would be analyzing the data, developing new theories about quantum gravity that they shouldn't be capable of understanding for at least another century. Commander, the science officer interrupted. You need to see this. The humans, they're adapting their probes. They've noticed that some areas aren't returning data properly. Our stealth systems are working partially, and they're modifying their sensor packages in real time. She paused, neural pathways flickering with disbelief. They're accidentally inventing quantum field detection technology through trial and error. A new alert sounded, and the tactical display updated again. The human vessel was launching a final wave of probes, these ones modified with makeshift quantum sensors jury-rigged from their original equipment. Crude, impossible, and yet undeniably functional. Send to Galactic Assessment Committee, Priority 1. Zixal commanded. Human technological advancement continues to exceed all projected models. Request immediate revision of quarantine protocols. Current containment strategies may be insufficient. She watched as the human vessel continued its work, blissfully unaware that it was forcing an entire alien fleet to retreat from its own training grounds. The humans hadn't even meant to interfere. They were simply doing what they always did, pushing boundaries, asking questions, and stumbling into discoveries that should have been impossible. Additional message from the humans. Communications reported. They're thanking Jupiter for providing such interesting data and promising to return with better equipment. Zixhal's crystalline form vibrated with what might have been laughter. Respond to the committee's inevitable inquiry. Explain that the humans have not only contaminated our training space, but have effectively claimed it for their own research. And add a personal note. At the current rate of human advancement, we may need to extend the quarantine zone to the entire solar system. As the fleet began its careful withdrawal, Zixhal watched the human vessel continue its enthusiastic research. The humans had no idea they'd just forced an advanced alien fleet to abandon its exercises. They were too busy being excited about their accidental discoveries, already planning how to study these mysterious phenomena in more detail. Final update, Commander, her science officer reported. Earth's scientific networks are analyzing the data. They've already submitted 17 papers for peer review. 3 of them accidentally describe the basic principles of our quantum drive systems. Time to full human development of quantum drive technology. Zixal asked. Based on previous advancement patterns, the science officer paused, double-checking her calculations. Less than 15 cycles. They're rapidly approaching the ability to track our ships anywhere in their solar system, and they still think they're alone in the universe. Zixal sent the final retreat order, watching as her fleet carefully withdrew from Jupiter's orbit. The human vessel remained, still launching probes, still gathering data, still pushing the boundaries of what should have been possible. "Add to my report," she commanded. The humans have demonstrated the ability to convert a simple research mission into an accidental quantum detection system. Their technological evolution continues to defy conventional development models. Most concerning of all, they appear to be having fun doing it. The fleet disappeared into quantum space, leaving behind a very excited human science vessel and a scatter of probes that would, in time, lead humanity one step closer to the stars, whether the galaxy was ready for them or not. Emergency Session 2947B of the Galactic Assessment Committee began in chaos. Representatives from 17 spacefaring civilizations spoke simultaneously, their various forms of communication creating a cacophony that overwhelmed the chamber's translation matrices. "Order," Chief Administrator Nivex demanded, his energy form pulsing with authority. "We will maintain proper protocol, even in crisis." The chamber settled, though waves of anxiety continued to ripple through the assembled representatives. On the central display, a real-time feed showed the source of their distress, a human quantum research facility deep beneath the Swiss Alps. "Senior Observer Vix Terra," Nivex acknowledged. "Present your findings." Vix Terra's bioluminescent patterns betrayed her agitation as she began. 36 hours ago, human scientists at the CERN facility achieved what they're calling quantum entanglement cascade. They believed they were conducting a simple particle physics experiment. Instead, they accidentally created the foundation for instantaneous galactic communication. The Ardani representatives' chromatophores darkened. Impossible. They don't even have basic antimatter containment technology. "They don't need it," Vix Terra replied. "They've developed their own methodology, completely different from our standard quantum communication systems. It's less elegant, requires more energy, and by all our models shouldn't work at all. But it does, and it's potentially more effective than our current networks." She gestured, and the display shifted to show technical diagrams. They've discovered how to create stable quantum entanglement chains using modified particle accelerators. The energy cost is enormous by our standards, but they've bypassed dozens of technical hurdles simply by applying brute force and what they call creative thinking. "How long?" the Silicon Consciousness inquired. "How long until they achieve practical application?" "At their current rate of progress." Vix Terra's markings pulsed with resignation. "Less than 5 years. They're already discussing plans to build a global quantum communication network. Once they do that, they'll detect our own quantum communications. First contact becomes inevitable at that point." The chamber erupted again, this time with such force that several representatives had to recalibrate their sensory organs. "There's more," Vix Terra continued once order was restored. "This quantum breakthrough is just one of 7 major technological advances they've made in the past month. They're developing artificial intelligence that thinks laterally instead of linearly. They've created self-repairing materials by accident while trying to make better spacecraft shielding. 3 different human nations are on the verge of achieving stable fusion power, each using different methods. The Omega Protocol was designed for exactly this scenario," the Pexillary Elder interjected. "A species advancing too rapidly, threatening galactic stability. The Omega Protocol assumes we can still contain the species in question," Vix Terra countered. "Humanity's development isn't just accelerating, it's becoming exponential. They're not advancing along a predictable path. They're making intuitive leaps, finding connections we never considered, and treating supposedly impossible barriers as personal challenges." She brought up a new display, showing multiple human research projects simultaneously. "Look at their methodology. They pursue dozens of different approaches to the same problem simultaneously. When one approach fails, instead of abandoning it, they try to understand why it failed and often discover something completely unexpected in the process. Their failures are as productive as their successes. The collective mind pulsed with concern. This violates fundamental principles of technological development. There must be order, sequence, proper progression. Humans don't seem to care about proper progression, Vix Terra noted. They're developing quantum technology and fusion power while still using internal combustion engines. They're creating artificial intelligence while still struggling to cure common diseases. Their development pattern looks random because it is random. They pursue whatever interests them, whenever it interests them, however they choose to pursue it. And their weapons? Someone asked. Have they shown similar advancement in military technology? Vix Terra's markings shifted to a solemn hue. That's the real reason I called this session. 3 days ago, a human teenage science enthusiast accidentally discovered a principle similar to our gravitic manipulation technology while experimenting in their home laboratory. They posted their findings online as a cool physics trick. Within hours, other humans had replicated and expanded upon the experiment. They don't realize it yet, but they're less than 6 months away from developing technology that could be used to create weapons more powerful than anything in our current arsenal. The chamber fell silent. I am hereby invoking Emergency Provision 17 of the Omega Protocol, Vix Terra declared. We can no longer guarantee containment of human technological advancement. They will achieve faster than light travel within the next decade, using methods we haven't even considered. They will discover our observation posts, our quantum communication networks, and our presence in their solar system. The only question is, what do we do about it? Nvex's energy form flickered thoughtfully. Options. We have 3 choices, Vix Terra responded. First, we can attempt immediate contact, try to guide their development along safer paths. Second, we can maintain the quarantine and hope they don't accidentally destroy themselves or us when they eventually break free. Or third, she paused, her markings pulsing with uncertainty. We accept that they represent the next stage of galactic civilization and prepare our societies for the chaos they will inevitably bring. Before anyone could respond, a new alert flashed across the central display. The humans at CERN had just achieved another breakthrough, one that their equations suggested might allow for manipulation of spacetime itself. There is, of course, a fourth option, Vix Terra added quietly. We could learn from them. Their chaos, their creativity, their willingness to try the impossible. Perhaps these are not flaws to be contained, but strengths we have forgotten. The chamber remained silent as they watched humanity continue its relentless march toward the stars, breaking every rule of technological progression along the way. The Martian observation post's security systems registered the intrusion at 3:47 Earth Standard Time. Senior observer Cliveth watched in horror as a crude human rover, little more than wheels, solar panels, and scientific instruments, rolled directly toward their supposedly undetectable facility. Status report, he transmitted to his team, chromatophores flickering with anxiety. Sir, it's another one of their exploratory vehicles. Designation Mars Rover Beta 7. It appears to have detected our quantum shielding by accident. Cliveth expanded his sensory membranes in disbelief. The humans had launched a fleet of these simple machines to Mars, each carrying what they called experimental sensors, cobbled together devices that shouldn't have been capable of detecting advanced alien technology. Yet somehow, they had. Initiate emergency protocols. Prepare for facility relocation. Sir, his subordinate interrupted, you need to see this. The main display activated, showing the rover's current actions. Instead of conducting scans or attempting to probe the facility's defenses, it was arranging rocks. The machine methodically gathered nearby stones, placing them in a distinct pattern. Is that? Cliveth began. Yes, sir. It's arranging the rocks into a basic representation of an atom. Below it, it's spelling out HELO in multiple Earth languages. The rover finished its work and backed away several meters. Then, using its sample collection arm, it placed a small package on the ground. The package contained a USB drive, thoroughly outdated technology by galactic standards. solar panels, and a simple radio transmitter. They're leaving us a gift, the security officer realized, his crystalline form vibrating with amazement. They've found us, and their first response is to leave us a present. Clivith accessed the observation post's archives, reviewing the past 3 months of human activity on Mars. The pattern became clear. They had been methodically searching the planet, not for resources or strategic positions, but for signs of observers. They had suspected they were being watched, and rather than react with fear or hostility, they had launched a carefully planned first contact initiative. "Sir," communications chimed in, "we're receiving a transmission from Earth. It's being broadcast on all frequencies, directed at every planet in the solar system. Playing now." A human voice filled the command center. "To any intelligent life observing our species, we see you. We've known someone was watching for a while now. You're really good at hiding, but you maybe didn't account for how many different ways we try to look. We're leaving similar packages at every spot where we've detected anomalies. Each one contains information about our species, our culture, our scientific understanding, and our hopes for peaceful contact. Also, we included some memes. We figure any advanced civilization should understand humor." Clivith's chromatophores cycled through patterns of disbelief. "They're not supposed to be capable of detecting us. The quantum shielding." "They didn't detect the shielding directly," his science officer interrupted. "They noticed patterns in Mars' magnetic field that didn't match their models. Then they noticed similar patterns on Europa, Titan, and 3 other observation posts. They figured out we were here through contextual analysis." The rover continued its work, now setting up a small solar-powered beacon next to its gift. The beacon began broadcasting a simple message in binary. "Friends. Update from Earth monitoring." Another officer reported. "Human social media networks are celebrating. They're sharing theories about us, creating artwork depicting peaceful first contact scenarios, and writing stories about positive interactions between species." "Sir," security interjected, "we have similar reports from all observation posts in the solar system. The humans have found every single one. They're leaving gifts at each location. No weapons, no threats, no demands. Just welcomes and invitations to talk." Clivith accessed the contents of the USB drive through their quantum scanning systems. It contained exactly what the humans had promised: a comprehensive introduction to their species, scientific data, cultural information, music, art, and yes, thousands of memes. "Send priority message to the committee," he ordered. "The humans have broken quarantine protocols in the most human way possible. They found us, and their response was to give us a gift basket and make jokes." As if to emphasize his point, the rover used its arm to draw a smiley face in the Martian soil before beginning its journey to the next observation post. Additional report from Earth, communications added. "They've begun preparing for potential contact. They're not mobilizing military forces or building defenses. Instead, they're organizing welcome parties, planning cultural exchange programs, creating alien-friendly versions of their favorite foods." Clivith watched as the rover disappeared over the Martian horizon, leaving behind its cheerful message and carefully arranged gifts. The humans had shattered every protocol, violated every assumption about how a species should react to discovering they were being watched. They had turned what should have been a security crisis into what they would probably call a cosmic icebreaker. "Final note for my report," he transmitted. "The humans have demonstrated that even their first contact protocols are uniquely human. They've transformed our careful observation program into an impromptu interstellar social event. Most concerning of all, they seem to be thoroughly enjoying themselves." As if in response, the small beacon began playing what the attached message described as humanity's greatest hits, a collection of music from across their cultures. The sound of human joy and creativity echoed across the Martian desert. A clear message to anyone listening: "We're here, we know you're here, and we can't wait to meet you. Somewhere in the vast quantum networks connecting the galaxy's civilizations, thousands of alien species began preparing for the inevitable. Humanity had found them, and they had done it with a smile, a wave, and an invitation to become friends. The quarantine was over. The galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Council's emergency session entered its third day as representatives from over 1,000 civilizations debated humanity's unprecedented First Contact initiative. The Grand Chamber, normally a model of ordered discourse, had devolved into clusters of heated discussion as species tried to make sense of the situation. Chief Administrator Invex's energy form pulsed for attention. The Council will come to order. Senior Observer Vixterra, present your final assessment. Vixterra's bioluminescent patterns shifted as she took the central platform. Behind her, a holographic display showed Earth, surrounded by data streams documenting human activity across their solar system. Honorable Council, we face an unprecedented situation. The humans have not only detected our presence, but have systematically turned our observation network into a communications platform. They're using our own quantum resonance signatures to broadcast messages of friendship across their entire solar system. She gestured, and the display showed the growing collection of human gift packages, accumulating at every observation post. They've provided complete access to their scientific knowledge, cultural database, and historical records. They've even included suggested protocols for peaceful contact, drawing from their own speculative fiction about interstellar diplomacy. The Ardeni representatives' chromatophores flashed with confusion. They're using their entertainment media as a diplomatic guide. Yes, Vixterra confirmed, and that's exactly why we need to reconsider everything we thought we knew about them. The humans have spent centuries imagining this moment. They've explored countless scenarios through their fiction, debated various approaches in their academic institutions, and prepared their population through media and education. She brought up a new display showing human social media reactions. Look at their response to confirmation of alien life. Instead of panic, they're organizing welcome committees. Instead of fear, they're planning cultural exchange programs. They're treating First Contact as an opportunity for friendship rather than a potential threat. The Silicon consciousness pulsed with concern. This violates all predicted behavior patterns. Species at their development level should react with fear, aggression, or at minimum, defensive preparation. That's precisely my point, Vixterra responded. The humans are rewriting our understanding of species development. They've turned our careful observation program into what they call a cosmic pen pal initiative. They're leaving gifts, jokes, and invitations to talk at every observation post they find. She paused, her markings pulsing with what might have been amusement. They've even begun preparing their cities for potential alien visitors. They're establishing xeno-friendly zones with various atmospheric conditions, gravity settings, and environmental parameters, using technology they developed specifically for this purpose in a matter of weeks. The Pexillary Elder extended its consciousness toward the assembly. What of their military response? That's the most surprising part, Vixterra replied. They've ordered their military forces to stand down, maintaining only basic defensive positions. Instead of preparing for war, they're repurposing military facilities into potential diplomatic centers. Their space forces have been instructed to assist with peaceful contact initiatives. The chamber erupted in overlapping communications until Invex called for order again. The council must vote, he declared. We have 3 options: maintain quarantine and risk hostile human reaction, attempt to suppress their development, and face certain resistance, or, he paused, energy form flickering, accept their invitation for peaceful contact. Vixterra's markings brightened. There is a 4th option, one the humans themselves have suggested in their messages. They propose a gradual integration program, allowing both sides to adjust to each other's presence. They're calling it Operation Cosmic Neighborhood. She displayed the human proposal, combining elements of cultural exchange, technological cooperation, and mutual development. They're not asking to be given advanced technology or immediate full membership in the galactic community. They're asking for friendship, cultural exchange, and the opportunity to learn from each other. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The humans weren't demanding anything. They weren't threatening or posturing. They were simply extending a hand in friendship, eager to learn and share. Final vote, Nvex announced. The options air. He was interrupted by a new alert. The humans had just activated a massive array of quantum communications devices, cobbled together from their particle accelerator network. The message they broadcast across the solar system was simple. We come in peace. Bring snacks if you want. We're having a party. Vixterra's markings pulsed with what was definitely amusement now. I believe the humans have just called the vote for us. They're not asking permission to join the galactic community. They're inviting us to join their celebration of cosmic diversity. The Council's voting systems lit up as representatives made their choice. The result was clear. The quarantine would end. Not because the humans had forced their way out, but because they had turned isolation into an opportunity for friendship. Send the response, Nvex ordered. Accept their invitation. But add a note. Warn them that they're about to receive the largest collection of alien diplomats in galactic history. The human reply came almost instantly. Awesome. We'll make extra guacamole. P.S. We hope you like dogs. They're really excited to meet you. As the council chamber erupted in a mixture of amusement, concern, and anticipation, Vixterra added one final note to her report. The humans have achieved what no species in galactic history has managed. They've made first contact feel like a neighborhood block party. The galaxy will never be the same, and maybe that's exactly what we needed.